I don't know the like science definition, but I know it has to do with women's menses and sort of an abnormality.
I think I've had something like that, but I don't know exactly what it is.
Najua tu ni mostly period pains, inakuwa more intense, ina extend hadi kwa sijui to your lungs and to your brain. That's how I know.
Okay, I've never heard about that sickness. Yeah.
It causes something like growth that with time it can cause you even to lack kids.
The first experience I like had such information was by Jambi Koikai. Like she had it and it was so publicized all over. So that's when I got to know about it.
I saw it on the internet. The other day I passed through Thika Road and I found an internet post. Then I wanted to know more about endometriosis, and that is how I went to the internet and I read something about endometriosis.
People are getting to know about endometriosis. Us having this conversation is showing that people are actually interested in knowing. It's not like 5 years ago or 10 years ago or when I was getting diagnosed, because for me I had to keep it a secret. I used to mask my pain as asthma.
It is not normal to pass blood clots with your periods. It is not normal to faint because of your periods.
Despite the condition being as common as diabetes and a whole month of March being set aside to create awareness on endometriosis, the public knows little about it. I interacted with Endo Warriors who shared their stories, journeys, and experiences, and hopefully offer some inspirations and encouragement to some women out there who are going through the same condition.
I've had endometriosis for the past 12 years. I got diagnosed at the age of 21.
It started as having painful stomach aches, and the worst was when I passed out while in school. So I was taken to hospital. They did various tests, and they discovered that I had endometriosis. So I had to go in for surgery because they found a cyst in my body.
I was diagnosed officially with endometriosis in 2016 when I had a laparoscopic surgery done. But I have always had painful periods since I was 12 years old. And the doctors used to say it's normal, take painkillers, but the kind of pain that when you take painkillers and it doesn't go away, or you have to take painkillers every 2 hours so that the pain can minimize, it's not normal.
After suffering for like 8 years, my parents never used to understand what was up. Actually, my mom used to tell me I'm faking, and she would get me out of bed and tell me to go to work.
When I was around 18 years, that is 6 years after I started my periods, I went back to a gynecologist and they gave me some family planning pills. I was still in high school, and they helped a bit. I was able to at least have some relief from the endometriosis. It started sinking in when my work was getting affected and I could not attend family functions or social functions. I had to stay home or cancel every time. Every time I'm on my period, I had to look at the calendar. And like if I finish my cycle today, I already know next month when they're starting. So it affected me. It gave me anxiety because I wasn't able to live my life as I would have wanted to.
It brings you down. It can really bring you down. There are days when you can't get out of bed. You get affected during cold seasons. And you also need to get good doctors. It's by the grace of God and the works of my good doctors that I've been able to get to where I am today. The medicines can make you go mad sometimes. There are mood swings. And then also the times when, of course, if I'm privileged enough to be in a family business, so they understand, so I'm able to on the bad days, I'm given leave. They're able to cope with my condition. I understand there are those who are employed and some have had to either quit their jobs or they're laid off because the employer does not understand anything about endometriosis.
But school, in high school, we had a sick bay. So I went to a day school. So I'd go to school and sleep in the sick bay. So guys in school would think I'm not in and my mom would think I'm in school. So after high school, that's when I went and talked to my dad about it. And it's a taboo to talk to your dad about periods, yeah? So to avoid us having that discussion, he told my mom to take me to hospital. And that's where my journey began. I went to Kenyatta National Hospital. Yes, and first I was told it is in my head. I am faking it. I am seeking attention. Then it changed to I'm promiscuous because some of the symptoms of endometriosis is getting a lot of infection. So I would get a lot of infections, and the doctor told my mom I'm being promiscuous. So then after a while, I would go there like almost every Friday because the bleeding was too much, the pain was too much. Eventually, one of the doctors advised my mom that I should get my uterus removed. Yes, at the age of 21. And that's when it hit my mom, this must be something serious. And we changed hospitals, please. And I went to Kijabe Hospital, and that's where I had surgery and I got my first diagnosis, and that's where the journey began. For me, I've noticed it's getting worse by age. That's just my personal experience, because every other month I get a new symptom. I get a new pain. I get a new sort of, this is not kawaida thing. Like this month, it's been having asthma attacks. I can't have milk, I can't have meat, there's a lot of things that I can't have. I can't have bread. So I can only take certain stuff, especially when I'm about to roll. That's the time that when it's really bad. Because sometimes the symptoms sometimes come like you're pregnant. So I don't want the smell of a kitungu, I don't want nini. And one of the nini is you bloat a lot, so you have to stay away from gluten, you have to stay away from dairy, you have to stay, So you're stuck to some things, the veggies and the smoothies and stuff like that.
What is normal to one is not normal to another. So you can find that maybe a regular period is maybe 1 to 3 days. So you can find the days where you'd have up to 7 days, the days you'd go 15 days.
I don't think you get to a point where you're like, now I know what exactly I'm having. You sometimes get pain and you go to the doctor and they're looking at you, they don't even understand. So the symptoms keep changing and you get new symptoms every other month.
Apart from medication, I'd say I have a supportive husband. He's very understanding of my condition, and when I'm not well, he actually does help me where he can.
My mom for once, my brothers, my dad, my family was there for me. And the constant reassurance from family and friends, no judgment. And then also, I put it out there to people. Like even when I got older and when I got a job, I put it out there, told them, you know what, the days that I'll have bad days and I'll have good days, and it's because of this, because of the endometriosis, so kindly bear with me. And people there are those who judged me, but most of the people were supportive.
Endometriosis is not painful cramps. Endometriosis is a condition where when you get your periods, you cannot walk. You literally have to be assisted by someone to get to yourself to the bathroom. You have to be assisted. More often than not, you stay in bed the first 2 days because the pain is unbearable. So you would not classify endometriosis as just painful cramps, because there are other symptoms that come with it. You vomit, you have a running stomach, some even get fevers. So it's not the normal, you have your painful cramps and then you take your Brufen and you're good to go. No.
You are given myths around it. There are very many theories around it. But what is it?
A condition that afflicts women, mostly after the beginning of their menses. Yeah, and it is the presence of functioning endometrium. Functioning endometrium is the inner lining of the endometrium, of the uterus. The uterus has 3 layers: the outer layer, the middle layer, which is muscular, and the inner layer, which is called the endometrium. This endometrium is very specialized in that it's the one which is processed by hormones in readiness for implantation of a fertilized ovum. Okay, when fertilization occurs, that is where implantation will occur. So for implantation to occur, that endometrium has to be well prepared for reception of that ovum which has been fertilized. Now, you may find that this specialized lining of the uterus is deposited in other areas other than the inner lining of the uterus, okay, due to many other factors. So when they are deposited in those other areas, the influence of the hormones that are coming from the ovary that prepare that special endometrium will also affect them in those other areas. So they'll cause congestion and pain as one approaches menses. So endometriosis is basically a disease of deposition of that special endometrium to other areas other than the inner lining of the uterus.
Some of these symptoms which occur during menstruation, like dysmenorrhea or very severe cramps, they not necessarily just be normal, maybe due to underlying cause. And endometriosis is known to cause a lot of pain, even up to 50% of women with endometriosis will experience dysmenorrhea or painful period.
It starts some days before you start bleeding, okay? And it can extend beyond the bleeding. So the pain will start before, like 2 or 3 days before, and continue beyond the cessation of your menses. Now, that is pain that is typical of endometriosis. But to make a diagnosis, if this pain occurs quite often and you see a doctor, you can only make a proper diagnosis of endometriosis by doing a minor operation called laparoscopy, where you look inside the abdomen and you see the deposits. Yeah, you can see the deposits of endometrium of that endometriosis behind the uterus. It may be on the tube, it may be on the intestines, you know, mainly on structures that are below the umbilicus, mostly below the umbilicus. But it's not unusual for endometriosis to affect other organs, even the lungs, even the brain. So you find some people who have headaches or they have seizures when they're having their periods. You can have people who have got chest pain when they're having their periods and so forth. And that is just due to the disease process in other areas. It's rare, but it occurs. Now, normal menses, usually the pain is not too much. And most often than not, the pain will begin on the day that you're starting your periods, if it is associated with pain. But most women, by the way, have menstruation which is rather painless, without drama, okay? And normal menses will last for 2 days, between 2 days and 7 days, okay? And will be regular in that they'll be occurring in an interval of between 21 and 35 days. If your periods come before 21 days, then that is too frequent. So you'll have many periods within a year. If your periods come after 35 days, again you'll have fewer periods in a year. So that is also abnormal. And those two situations do occur due to hormonal imbalances for one reason or another.
We are put on hormonal treatments, most of us, which gives us a break. You may find others take 3 month breaks. You're given medicine, you start today, you take it continuously for 3 months so that you don't get your period, so that you don't experience the pain every month. And then after 3 months, you break, you get your monthly cycle. For others, it can be longer, 6 months, 1 year, depending on how the doctor will see fit to treat you. You start getting the treatment early, such that this endometriosis does not continue to grow, because the longer you stay without this diagnosis, the longer you stay without medical intervention, the more it continues to eat into your reproductive system, and it can even go into other organs. So early diagnosis is always the best for any condition.
To manage endometriosis, it depends on the extent of the disease, all right? There are situations where the disease is very extensive, and there are situations where the disease is mild. Sometimes you just use painkillers, which can handle. You can use a combination of painkillers to manage the pain, because the main complaint is the pain, okay? There are times when endometriosis may be associated with infertility. Someone is trying to conceive, but it's taking too long. So you'll have to go in and actually remove those deposits so that it can fill even the tubes, so that chances of conceiving are increased. Because remember, for you to conceive, the tubes must trap the egg after the egg has been released, all right? But if you have a situation where the tube is fixed due to those adhesions caused by endometriosis, then it will be difficult to conceive. So such things can be managed surgically by that same laparoscopy. If the disease is very severe, sometimes we use medications which can postpone menses, okay? You block the hormones that make the endometrium to grow, okay? So if you block them for a duration, a long duration, like over 3 to 6 months, then you'll find that those deposits can die off wherever they are, okay? Then you can have a period of painless menses, okay? Maybe a duration of 1 or 2 or 3 years, but sometimes it may reoccur when the system gets back to the normal. So anything that will postpone the menses will help to manage the endometriosis. Because remember, it is the same hormones that are controlling the inner lining of the uterus, which is shed off as menses, that will be also controlling those deposits wherever they are in the pelvis. But you find that about 30 to 40% of women who are suffering from infertility have got endometriosis. So there is an association. Okay? Whether it causes is not known, but there's an association that if you have endometriosis, chances of having infertility are there. But there are women who have also had children with still the condition being there.
There is need also locally to do our own research and try to come up with new options for treatment which may be cheaper for the patient locally.
Yes, it is true that one of the symptoms is pain during intercourse. Yeah, especially to the female. Yeah, pain during intercourse may be associated with endometriosis, so it will be good to be evaluated. Yeah.
Yes, we've had an issue with people having difficulties in their relationships, in their marriages, because of men not understanding. I think it's about time when your woman goes for the gyna visit, please go with them, sit and listen to what they're saying. Your woman is not crazy, they're not faking. It's about time you also get involved in your woman's life. You're in this together, yes. They need your support. As a man, you need to support your woman. Because you cannot support up to a certain point and then hapo pengine, it is, yeah, jibebe. No. It's about time men listened, men went to hospital with their women, men understood. Go cook when she's not feeling well. Do something. Yeah.
The men should understand and help the women to get treatment, because most of the symptoms that women do have are real. They are real. They are not imagined. I know some men might be thinking that, oh, so and so is just pretending they don't want to do X, Y, and Z. But there could be a genuine symptom which can be managed. And once it is managed, usually you will find that the relations are improved. The surgery, of course, is not cheap, and likewise, you know that medical care is not cheap. It comes at a cost. Yeah, but however, I'm sure that with good survey, you can find a place where you can do them affordably. All right, they can be done affordably in various centers. Yeah, so it is good also to look around and find where can I do this surgery at an affordable rate. Yeah, because you'll find that different surgeons have got their different costs. Different hospitals also have got different costs for use of their facilities and so forth. So it's something that requires one to have a survey and find where you can whatever you can afford. Short of surgery, remember there is also the medical treatment. Yeah, medical treatment, where remember if you can postpone what? The menses, then you may be able to manage the endometriosis.
We have public hospitals whereby you can get affordable treatment. It may take longer than going to a private hospital, but don't stay at home with this condition, because the longer you stay with it without it being diagnosed, the longer it continues to give you unbearable periods. Go to a general practitioner or a gynecologist. Tell them how you're feeling. Please seek help. Come to the Endometriosis Foundation of Kenya. We may not offer you financial help because we don't have the ability as of now, but we will refer you to the right people who can help you, the right doctors who can help you.
If your daughter comes and tells you they have pain, kindly listen to them, because I'm thinking if my parents listened to me when I was young, I would have gotten my diagnosis earlier. So it's causing people to get diagnoses late. So kindly listen to your daughters, take them to hospital. Let's talk about periods. Let's stop making it a taboo. Let's talk about them to any person who's suffering from it. As in, I know it's very hard. I won't lie. I won't tell someone, yay, you can do this. No, there are days I don't want to even be alive because of the pain. So each day, you take each day as it comes. For me, that is how I'm able to get through this thing.
When I was in high school, I hadn't heard of endometriosis. So whenever I used to have my periods and I used to have to tell my friends I can't come to class, and it made me feel sidelined because they didn't understand what was going on. And I also was missing class, which was making me stick out like a sore thumb, because every time I had my periods I had to stay in the dormitory. So I understand the girl who is probably somewhere suffering with painful periods and they don't know what is going on, and they should talk to someone. They should not keep quiet, because it can affect their studies, it can affect how they relate with others, because they don't get it at all, especially your peers who probably don't even have period cramps. Theirs is the normal cycle, it comes and so even surprises you because there's no warning. So please talk to someone, find an adult in your school and talk to them, and don't keep quiet, because endometriosis needs to be diagnosed for you to get help. Yes.
It's not the end of the world. You'll survive. Always have a positive attitude. Don't look at it like a burden, a death sentence. It's not. You'll survive from it. Eat healthy, exercise, go out with friends, live your life like a normal person. Then that is what will help you.
We must also get to a place where we also celebrate these women, because they are also going through a very tough time emotionally, and we must make sure that there is care being provided for them at an emotional level, just so that, because they are enduring a lot as it is. You know, marriages are suffering, relationships are suffering. There's also someone who's losing her job because of this endometriosis. You know, her livelihood, and the whole quality, quality of life of this woman is compromised because of endometriosis.
Our foundation was started by one of the Endo sisters, and it's been one of the most amazing group I've been part of. Like, because from there I've found a support system, and I've found out that I'm not crazy. Like, sometimes I wake up in the morning and I read about what people have written. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. That's what it is. We share experiences, we share. When you have an issue, you share there, you have support sisters.
All of us there suffer from one kind of endometriosis to another. It varies in the ranges, and we support each other, we encourage each other, we speak about it. Because I learned that speaking about it helps, even if it's kind of a taboo in the African culture to speak about the fertility process and everything. But they encourage people to speak out, because it's out of this speaking out that you'll find maybe a mother has a daughter who keeps complaining about cramps, and the daughter is told, woman up. These are part of being a woman. But you find that once we talk about it and the girls are taken to hospital, they're discovered with endometriosis, then it makes the process easier.
As a foundation, that is one of our objectives, to raise awareness. And we do this through the yearly month we have in March. We hold an event whereby we come together. We also want to engage government, because government plays a key role in this. They need to make policies whereby we can get better treatment in hospital, affordable, because treating endometriosis is very expensive. The medication, the surgeries are very costly, and not everyone can afford. Also, we want the stigmatization, whereby women do not understand other women and what they go through. We want that to stop. We need to be supportive of our fellow women, and to know that not everyone has it easy when it comes to that time of the month. And also work policies. We need to have favorable work policies, because endometriosis warriors are also people who want to succeed in life. So we need to give them a work environment that can allow them to work from home during that time of the month when they are not able to make it to work. So that is the way we want to make this disease known to people. And we can say we are doing a good job, because as of this year, we have noted many people are coming out. Many people are saying this awareness you're doing is helping our marriages. People are getting to ask about it at work. People are getting to know and ask their friends. So when they hear their friends are in pain, they ask them, how bad is it? Do you need to go to a doctor? So I think we are starting to feel the effects of raising this awareness in the public.
If we do not fight, as this generation, if we do not fight for it, then we will not find a cure, then we will not find specialists, then we will not have this conversation. For the generation, for my nieces, and for my friends, and for the young girls that are being born. Because if the generation before us had this conversation, I think we wouldn't have gone through what we are going through as this generation. Yeah, I think it's about time we had people being trained, like doctors being trained into being specialists for endometriosis, so that they can do the necessary surgeries that are needed. We don't have to go to India and US and I don't know where. Not all of us can afford that. So we need to have doctors who can be able to do the surgeries in Kenya. Because the surgeries that we get, excursion surgeries, is after a few months you have to go back. It's not really like a good surgery. So yeah, it's about time the government started that, like in the universities here, maybe something. Yeah, because have a whole country of 40-something million people having zero doctors who can, it doesn't